Can hormones be a problem and why someone feels tired, bad skin? You'll see on the internet a lot, they say, I found out my hormones were off balance. And I found, I'm taking this supplement or I switched to doing this and it regulates my hormones. Can that contribute to weight gain? And is there a way that food can balance it?
There are three hormones that increase your risk of cancer, and those are predominantly insulin, estrogen, and insulin-like growth factor 1. Those are the three main hormones that are necessary ingredients to create the most common cancers, particularly breast and prostate cancer. Focusing on breast cancer for a minute, the American diet causes an incredibly high level of estrogen that is cancer promoting. And so we're taking foods that block estrogen stimulation of the breast, like flax seeds and mushrooms and soybeans, block and reduce risk of breast cancer accordingly. So saying you're going to balance hormones is saying to people, the estrogen testosterone ratio was off because body fat produces estrogen, and eating fatty foods and animal products, we produce extra estrogen. And of course, the animal products produce more IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. Excess animal protein produces more IGF-1. Excess sugar in the blood creates excess insulin. But the biggest source of extra estrogen is fat on the body. It means overeating food and eating too much of everything. And body fat is the primary producer of increased estrogen. So now we have people with extra hormones, which makes their estrogen, testosterone, and estrogen progesterone ratio unbalanced. So now you have doctors and alternative health practitioners trying to balance people's hormones by giving them more testosterone or progesterone to make the estrogen, progesterone, and estrogen testosterone ratio more favorable. But that's not the way that's going to lead to longer lifespan. That is a formula for premature death and cancer. What we really want to balance hormones is by lowering estrogen to bring it closer to, and raising testosterone and lowering estrogen by losing body fat. So let's go. People, they don't want to get to the truth. The doctors don't want to insult people. They don't want to make people feel bad. They don't want to tell them they have to change their diet and start exercising more. They just give them pills and remedies instead of saying the facts that there's no such thing as a healthy overweight person. You can't have normal hormones when you're overweight, and you can't have normal hormones when you overeat. It's impossible. Overeating drives excess hormones. And the only way to keep your hormones balanced is by keeping your fat off your body and being strong. In other words, I get more testosterone, lower estrogen by lifting weights and eating less. By keeping our body lean. And that means that a woman's body fat, to have a normal estrogen balance, has to be below 25% body fat. And for a male, to have the testosterone estrogen balance be favorable, the body fat has to be below 15%. If you're not getting low body fat, then you are in trouble, and you can't fix it by taking hormones from a doctor.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I see it a lot on social media. And the second a doctor or nutritional advocate or influencer starts talking about, I took this to balance my hormones, I stop listening because I'm like, you do not understand science or the human body.
Right. Balance your hormones. That's like the people saying adrenal fatigue, and they have these catchwords and these even fake diagnoses that mean nothing. It's like immediately, it's right. It's a light goes off. You're balancing your hormones. God, what do you think your perfect weight should be? What's the most optimal weight for you? Because you've got to be the scientist of your own body. You've got to be the artist of your own body, and got to know what to eat and how much to eat to be the best version of yourself. And stop going to doctors and checking your blood pressure and getting pills until you've achieved. You got to get the best version. Of course, if you're not the best version of yourself, of course, if you're overweight, eating the wrong foods, you're going to discombobulate everything. Your blood pressure is going to go up, and your glucose is going to go up, and your hormones are going to go off, and you're fatigued all the time, and your headaches all the time, and you can't breathe when of course, everything's wrong if you're not going to eat right and exercise right and sleep right. Right? You can't be healthy unless you do the right things to be healthy.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what you always say, and this is almost always the answer. Nutrition is the prescription. If you do not have good nutrition, you will never have good health or your ideal body weight.
And that we can't get health without a high consumption of green vegetables. In other words, the body is green vegetable dependent. And you can't have a normal immune system, and you can't detoxify toxins without a high intake of green vegetables. So if you're not a green vegetable eater and you don't want to eat enough green vegetables, and that means eating enough of them raw and cooked, but most of them raw, you got to live close to a hospital or be in touch with your doctors and taking pills and remedies all the time. keep in mind, I'm saying that the natural remedies, the herbalist, the Chinese medicine doctor, the naturopath is giving you, the natural substances have efficacy in proportion to their toxicity. And the pharmaceutical drugs are made from the same natural substances. They've made synthetic versions of them to have medicinal effects. So it's not that natural treatments don't work. It's just they work because they're poisonous. And we should live in a manner to avoid the need for medicinal substances. We don't want to even have more practitioners giving us more remedies. We want to live in a manner so we don't need remedies.